Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. Can we get started, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to another day of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya on a Saturday morning. Today we have the privilege of getting the association of His Grace Sheetalanga Gauranga Prabhu, and he will be covering Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, verse number 33. Prabhuji, over to you. Announce.
Om Agnana Timirandasya Dhananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Tadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Shri Chaitanya Manodbhishtam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadate Swapadantikam Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo, namo namah. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28. Puranjana becomes a woman in next life. Text number 33. Vibhajya Tanaye Vyakshamam Rajarsher Malayadvajaha Hariradhyayishu Krishnam Hariradhyayishu Krishnam Sajagama Kulachalam Sajagama Kulachalam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After this, the great saintly king Malayadwaja divided his entire kingdom among his sons. Then in order to worship Lord Krishna with full attention, he went to a solitary place known as Kulachala. So as I will not read the entire purport. I'll start speaking. I'll keep referring to the purport as I speak. So only a top devotee, topmost devotee like Malayadwaja can actually beget children who are very beautiful. The law of karma will see to it that one reaps the results of all his previous past activities, both in this life and past life. Here, Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport that he begot many sons by executing devotional service. How did he get good sons? He got good sons by executing devotional service, bhakti. A person who is a devotee will offer everything unto the Lord. He will not hold back anything. Yat karoshi, yat ashnashi, yat juhoshi, tadasi yat. Kurushva madatpanam. So the Lord is declaring, whatever you do, whatever you think, whatever you talk, whatever you eat, do everything, eat everything as an offering unto me. So only a person who is a devotee will offer everything unto the Lord. And if things are not offered to the Lord, then the person will get caught up in the karmic reactions of his own activities. If Malayadwaja, the great royal king, who had the entire world under his control, if he had not offered all that he did in his life and to the lotus feet of the Lord, day in and day out, every moment of his life, then he wouldn't have been able to give up his life and go to a place, a solitary place, known by the name Kulachala, so that he can worship Sri Krishna with full attention. And if Malayadwaja had been caught up in his karmic reactions, then the thousands of sons that were born to him, at least one of them would have become such a rogue, such a thief, such a rowdy, that he would have given all kinds of trouble to his father, Malayadwaja. But the thousands of sons never gave any trouble to Malayadwaja. This is the result of that person, of Malayadwaja, being not caught up in any karmic reactions. So why he did not get caught up in the karmic reactions? Because he offered everything and to the lotus feet of the Lord. So one needs to clearly understand what is the meaning of the word offering. Unless and until we understand the word offering, one may not have to suffer. One may have to suffer because we may be doing something, we're thinking it is offering, but it's really not offering. And therefore, actually, we get caught up. We get completely bewildered. So does offering the result mean just giving up the fruits of activities physically? Say I'm an engineer, I'm working in a big IT company, and I am earning lakhs of rupees. I'm earning about 20 lakhs per month. So every month I give 50,000 to Bhakti Kutir. Every month I give 50,000 to ISKCON South Bangalore. Do you think this becomes qualified to be called an offering? Yes, at one level it is. But when does it really become an offering? So we need to understand what is an offering. To one of the result of any activity that we perform, we should utilize our own resources. A carpenter is there. The carpenter was engaged by someone to make a cot, to make a chair. And he has been supplied with wood, he has been supplied with time, he has been supplied with some money, he has been given all the facilities to make the chair. So after he makes the chair, what happens to that? Is it his? Is it the carpenter's? Or it belongs to the owner who engaged me, the carpenter? If a carpenter says, sir, I have made a super excellent cut, so thank you very much. And the owner thinks he's thanking me because I engaged him. He also says, okay, thank you very much. And then he says, okay, sir, thank you very much. I'm taking the cut because I did it. So we used our body to do an activity. We used our intelligence. We use the capacity to speak. We use the money that we have. And we put in all the efforts that were required to do that activity, to do it. I'm working in a company, and to do that activity, I'm utilizing all this. Because I'm a businessman. And to further my business, I'm doing so many things. So let us analyze one by one the resources that we have utilized in getting wonderful profits. The body that we call our home is really not ours. Not only I am not this body, I also don't own this body. This is told in the Srimad Bhagavatam many, many times. Not only I am not this body, I don't own this body too. I am not the owner of this body. I'm only a tenant. I'm only a resident of this body. The owner is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It belongs to God, who has granted us this body. The strength required to put in the effort is also coming from the food we eat. If we were to fast for, say, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, in ISKCON, we do such truncated kind of Ekadashi fasting. It's really not fasting. In fact, ISKCON devotees have made so many compilations, wonderful compilations of what all we can eat on Ekadashi. So is it really fasting? And yet, many, many devotees feel, oh, it's Ekadashi. Oh, it's Ekadashi. As if they are fasting without even swallowing their own saliva. Forget drinking water. They behave as if they are not even swallowing their saliva. See, this is really. So the Acharya has given us this. So we should be very thankful to him. And we should perform Ekadashi fasting with redoubled enthusiasm. Not that, oh, Ekadashi, I can only eat sabudana khichdi. I can only eat sabudana curd, curd sabudana. I can eat only this upma. I can eat only puri made of this dough, which is not grain. I can eat only this sweet. I can eat only that payasam. So we depend on food so much. Why are we disturbed when we have to give up food? Because it pains us, because it makes us weak, because we cannot even think properly. So the capacity to think coolly, the capacity to work, utilizing our hands, body, everything. And if the mind has to work, then the mind has to be peaceful, then the mind requires food. So without food, neither we have physical strength, nor mental strength, nor intellectual strength. Our intelligence will fail if no food goes into this system. The money that we used as a principle for our business, using which we made so much profit, is the result of all of the above. And then the money is also not ours. Food is given by the Lord, time is given by the Lord, the intelligence is provided by the Lord. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir gnanam aponancha. So, if I have to see something and recognize a business opportunity there, then my intelligence has to work. I need to remember, oh, this is required for so many people. Last time I saw there, then I saw here, then I saw here. Wow, this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful business proposition. From where you got your memory? Smriti. It's coming from the Lord. So memory is not ours, intelligence is not ours. The capacity to speak very nicely and convince somebody else to become our partner, to invest in our business, or to buy our product. The Vak Shakti is also coming from the Lord. The capacity to work, the capacity to think is also coming from the Lord. If it is not coming from the Lord, then why does a man who is attacked with paralysis, unable to move his head, why? Take a drug, reverse it. We can't reverse it. And even if we take a drug and it gets reversed, that's the Lord's arrangement that, okay, I have shown him a little now, let him become serious, then okay, he can take this medicine, he can become. The same medicine with this, for another person, it will not work. The same doctor, but it will not work. His diagnosis will not work. His medicines will not work. Because the Lord has designed, the Lord has desired that we must undergo that. And therefore we can't do anything. It's said it's mentioned in the Shastra that if a particular anga, any anga, the hand has to work, the legs has to work, the eyes have to see, or the nose has to smell, or the tongue has to taste, then there are hundreds of devatas sitting in all these places. And these devatas are getting their instructions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if this Lord permits the devata to lift the hand, then the hand gets lifted. Otherwise, it falls. This is a clear-cut understanding that we are not owning anything. If I'm the owner, then I must be able to control. If somebody is a business owner, then will he not be able to control his business? Can he not hire somebody? Can he not fire somebody? Can he not fix the price? Can he not increase the price? Can he not decrease the price? He can do anything and everything. So this body does not belong. Nothing belongs to us. So factually, all the results of all our activities belongs to God, because He is the one who has supplied all the resources we required, we used. Further, even if we had these resources of our own, without the will and sanction of the Lord, no part of our body, gross or subtle, will work. And if it does not work, if I am unable to think, then I have money, I have this, I have that, everything is mine, but still I cannot do business. So the Lord is the real supplier of all resources, and the Lord is the real doer. The Lord is the real doer. We are just instruments in His hand. Nimittamatram bhavasavya sachi. So therefore, offering really means simply acknowledging or simply accepting the fact that the Lord is the doer. Lord is the supplier, and Lord is the enjoyer of all the result. Nothing belongs to me. And therefore, when we give Lakshmi to somebody, to the Lord Himself, or as charity to some deserving person, if we understand, I don't own this money, I don't actually, this resource is not mine, then we simply work as custodians of that property or custodians of that opulence. A bank cashier deals with crores of rupees on a daily basis, but he never feels that he is the crorepati. He never makes any plans how to utilize that money for his enjoyment. He simply deposits every single pie without leaving a single paisa. He deposits it into the safety vault of the bank. So this is offering. The moment we completely believe and understand this fact, we will not lord over anything. We will not lord over anything we have, and we can very easily part with anything for the Lord's service, for the devotee's service, and for the service of the society. This is the real meaning of offering. This is the only way of offering. There's no other way of offering. If you think, I give money, we are building a temple. So some devotees go to somebody and then he gives, okay, how much you want? You want 2 crores? You want 3 crores? Okay, take it. I've got so much money. I have got so much money. I can spare any amount you want. Anytime you want money, you come to me. Anytime you want money, you come to me. I'll give it to you. You come to me, I will give it to you. He thinks money belongs to him, and he thinks he is giving. Lord does not require. Lord does not require any of these paper currencies. Chintamani prakara sadmashu kalpa vriksha lakshavratesh surabir avipalayantam. Even the stones, even the pebbles on the streets of Vrindavana, Goloka, are made of Chintamani jewels. Every tree is a desire, wish-fulfilling, desire-fulfilling tree. Kamadevi, cows. So many things. So why does the Lord require anything? So the Lord will not accept unless and until you come to the point of understanding that this does not belong to me, it belongs to the Lord, and I'm simply surrendering it back to the Lord. This is the real offering. Because the great king Malayadwaja was really not lording over anything. He was very easily able to give up all the kingly comforts, royal comforts, and was able to go to a solitary place to worship Lord Krishna with full attention. There are many people who are multi-billionaires. And they also do retire. But when they retire, they don't give up everything. They give a small portion to their children, or they give a small portion to the society. They make a trust and they control the trust. And then they say, okay, this money can go to this person, this money can go to this cause, not to this cause. Now here, contrast this with Malaya Dwaja. He divided his whole property, which means the entire Bhumandala. And then he gave it to his sons. And like a pauper, like a beggar, he went to a solitary place. He did not have a single pie with him. And what was the purpose? What was the purpose of giving up everything? To worship the original personality of God, Sri Krishna, fully, completely. Now contrast this with a person who is a multi-billionaire. He has given a small portion to his son. He goes to some place and then every day is calling, oh son, what are you doing? How is it going? Oh, you should not do that. You should not do this. You should do this. If you do this, you will not get money. Oh, why are you doing all this? He gave up money, not everything, a portion. And even that he didn't give up fully. He's trying and controlling. What is he trying to control? Karmana deva netrena. Whatever has to happen, everything will happen of its own accord. The three modes of material nature are doing everything. We are not the doers. We are not the doers. So, he was able to give up all the royal comfort, was able to go to the forest to worship Lord Krishna with full attention. Without the real understanding who is the real doer, this can never be done at all by anyone, much less a person who had everything under his so-called command. So that is why Malaya Dwaja is being referred to in this verse as a Raja Rishi. Brahmarshi, Devarshi, Raja Rishi. So all these are great personalities. They are all sages. They are all people who are actually completely merged in transcendence. Merged in transcendence does not mean they have become one, that there is no difference between the Lord and themselves. No, not that kind of merging. They are merged in their interests to serve the Lord. They are merged their interest with the interests of the Lord. The Lord wants to do something, they will do that. The Lord does not want something to be done, they will drop that like a hot potato. This is the real Advaita. This is the real purport. Natvayeva aham jatunasham natvam neme janadipaha. Neither was there a time. Never was there a time when I, nor you, nor all these assembled kings were not there. We were there. We are here. And we'll continue to exist in the future. So we don't become one with the Lord physically. We become one with the Lord in interest. The Lord's interest becomes our own interest. Bhagavantana ase akankshagale namma ase akankshagalagi ಪರಿವರ್ತಿಸಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತದೆ. So, the second point that must be understood from this verse is that only a devotee who is perfect can actually raise good children, who could, in course of time, become good devotees. They can become good preachers. Malaya Dwaja's children, all of them, thousands and thousands of them, turned out to be great preachers. So, who is a preacher? Who is somebody who can actually preach the Lord's glories perfectly and nicely? Let's take an example. And let us study, let's make a case study out of that. And by making a case study out of one super excellent preacher, we can understand what are the qualities of a good preacher, how he became a good preacher. If we know how he became a good preacher, then you and me, all of us, we can also become good preachers, provided we follow what that person followed to become a good preacher. Narada Muni is a perfect example of a high-class preacher. In fact, he's the best preacher. It's like Narada Muni's disciples are like the who's who of the Vaishnava world. Vyasa, Dhruva, Prahlada, you name them, and they are all disciples of Sri Narada Muni. Who's who? Oh, he is my student too. Oh, he's my student. Oh, he's my student. This is how he can tell. He can tell factually, not with false ego like that. So it's like Narada Muni's disciples are like the who's who of the Vaishnava world, and how he prepared himself. If we understand how he prepared himself, if we analyze how his life was, how he prepared himself, then we can understand how we can prepare our life too, so that we become good preachers, decent preachers. See, Narada, before he became Narada, was a maidservant's son. The Srimad Bhagavatam very clearly mentions this fact to us. During a Chaturmasya, he and his mother were fortunate enough to be in the service of great devotees of the Lord. During the 4 months of the rainy season, the sages, the sannyasis, they don't travel. They stay in one place and they discuss various aspects of the Lord, various aspects of devotional service, and they fine-tune their understanding, and they rededicate themselves for the Lord's service. So this is the only work of the renunciants during the 4 months of rainy season. So such a party of great devotees of the Lord, great Brahmana Vaishnavas, great Bhakti Vedantas were in a place, and to wash their parts or do this or do that or sweep the floor and whatever errands that needs to be done, Narada and his mother were very fortunate to be engaged in their service. And how old was Narada? Just Panchehani, just 5 years. This 5 years seems to be a very repeating a theme amongst many devotees. Dhruva Maharaja, 5 years old, when he went to the forest. Prahlada Maharaja, just 5 years old, when so many troubles were given to him. And Narada Muni is also 5 years old. So they were engaged in the service of the great devotees of the Lord, and Narada rendered personal service of these great Brahmana Vaishnavas. He was blessed by them. Full mercy was shown on him. Why? Why he was blessed by him? Why full mercy was shown on his person, on Sri Narada? One verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1:5-24, so nicely tells what were the qualities that attracted the attention of these Bhakti Vedantas. And they said, Aishman Bhava, Krishne Matirastuhu. May you live long. May you completely merge yourself in the transcendences of the Lord. May you always be in the service of the Lord. This wonderful blessing was given to Narada. So why? Why they gave it to him? This verse describes what were his qualities that attracted their attention. Te maya apeta kila chapale arbake Dante Adruta Kridanke Anuvartini. Dante Kridanake Anuvartini. Chakru Kripam Yadyapi Tulya Darshana Shushrushamane Munayo Ulpabashini. Munayo Ulpabashini. Dante, having controlled all the senses. How many year old boy? 5-year-old boy. He didn't ask his mother, Mommy, I want lollipop. Mommy, I want ice cream. Mommy, I want to go to circus. Mommy, I want to do this. Mommy, I want to go there. Nothing. Nothing he did. Because his mind was completely controlled. Dante. Adruta Kridanke. 5-year-old boy, his natural affinity is to always be playing. So he had no attachment to sports. This was his position. This was Narada's position, even as a 5-year-old boy. And Anuvartini, especially in today's world, you will see that none of the children are Anuvartini. Anuvartini means obedience. You tell them something, they will do exactly the opposite only. Whatever you tell them, Sonny, sit down. No, Papa, I want to stand. Sonny, stand up. No, Papa, my legs are paining. I want to sit down. Sonny, walk with me. No, Papa, take me up, pick me up. Sonny, eat your food. No, I'm not hungry. I don't want. Sonny, this is not the time to eat. No, I want it. I'm hungry. Wah, wah, wah. But Sri Narada Muni was the exact opposite of this. Anuvartini, completely obedient. And Alpabhashini. Alpabhashini means he did not speak more than what is required. But not a chatterbox. Nowadays, you can say that children speak as if they are 80-year-old men. All crazy things. But Narada Muni was not that. And Chapale, he was not naughty at all. He's completely well-behaved. Chapale, the proclivities, the natural proclivities of playfulness was not there. He was not naughty like that. So are we any of these? We are not 5-year-olds. We are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever. Are we any of these? So how can we get mercy? Because he was always, even though he was a mere boy of 5 years, he received great mercy from the Bhakti Vedantas. He also had their Uchishta with their permission, just once. Anumodito, with their permission, he had Uchishta. This purified him further and eradicated all the sins of his previous past lives. Then he also heard Krishna Katha being described by them. Pragayatam. Pragayatam. He heard the Krishna Katha that was being discussed by them. So very, very respectfully, he will stand or sit at a distance so as not to disturb the great Brahmana Vaishnavas. He's a maidservant son. He cannot touch them. So he had to maintain his distance, safe distance, social distancing. So he was there. So he would strain his ears to hear every word that was spoken softly by the Bhakti Vedantas. Since he heard very respectfully and sincerely, his taste for hearing increased step by step. So we have been hearing Bhagavatam for 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, 50 years. Has our interest and taste increased? I don't think so. With taste, Narada was able to hear more attentively. You just go to many of our temples and then you see, observe the devotees during Bhagavatam class, then most of them, especially if they are full-time devotees, they will be dozing off. Why? Because they say, oh, we have got so much service, we have got this, we have got that. But they'll be dozing. Why they're dozing? Because they require rest. Why they require rest? Because we are thinking, I am the doer, and therefore we become tired. So go back to the first one, the first point that we discussed. We keep thinking, I am the doer, I must do this, I must do this. And because of this, I, we become tired, we become elated, we become sad, we become so many things. So the same way, we doze. Because of all these anxieties, we doze. We doze off during Bhagavatam class. So I don't think our tastes have increased to any large extent. So is there a taste in us? Are we able to listen attentively? You can judge yourself. I am not the judge of you. I'm only speaking about myself. With devotional service, Narada's Rajastama Upaha. Rajastama Upaha. Bhagavatam is telling, Upaha means vanished. The modes of, the material modes of passion and ignorance simply vanished from his personality. Has it happened to us? Has it ever happened to us? No. So these are the problems. And one very, very important quality which Narada Muni had was Anucharasya. Anucharasya. He followed the instructions of the great sages very, very nicely in both letter and spirit. And utilizing all the three resources, Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. He followed all the instructions of the sages, Kaya, Vacha, Manasa, through words, through activities, and through his mental thoughts. And he did it in letter and spirit. He did not violate any of the instructions. So are we doing this? If we are doing this, then we should be advanced completely. And what is the sign of advancement? Vasudheve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatyaju Vairagyam Gnanam Chayadaitukam. Gnanam Vairagyam. Transcendental knowledge should shine in our heart. And we should be naturally detached from everything that is not connected with the Supreme Personality of God. So are we having all these things? So therefore, it's very clear that most of us, especially me, we don't have these qualities at all. And not only this, he was also gentle in his behavior towards everyone. Gentle in his behavior. And how many year old boy? 5-year-old boy. No tantrums. Prashritasya. Prashritasya means gentle behavior. And he had strong faith in the Brahmana Vaishnava. Shraddhadhanasya. Therefore, he got the most secret of secrets. He got the secret of the secrets bestowed on him, by which he could understand Krishna as a creator, maintainer, and annihilator of everything. And he was completely unafraid. When his mother died, after these people left, when his mother died, he simply started walking towards north. He was just 5 years old. He crossed towns, cities, villages. Easy to cross. Not easy to cross for a 5-year-old boy, but easy to cross for people like us, at least. But he crossed rivers, he crossed forests, he crossed jungles. He met with so many of these wild animals. Ekeha kurunanda bhahushaka anantasya buddhayo avyavasayinam. With one pointed attention. Tasmad ekena manasa Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi. With single pointed attention that he wants to actually meditate on the Lord. Yes, moving north, crossing all these things, plains, forests, jungles, rivers, whatever that came his way, and no fear at all. So therefore it is said in the Shastra that the easiest way and also the only way to remove all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Lord. And he did that. Have we dedicated all our services to the Lord? We haven't. Further in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks of Dushtamana, tumi kisera Vaishnava. Dushtamana, tumi kisera Vaishnava. What kind of Vaishnava are you? Galayamala, and Tilaka, and Chadar, and Aishika, and all extra fittings. But we look like preachers. We look like Vaishnavas. But we are really not Vaishnavas. A Brahmana is supposed to be lower than a Vaishnava. That means Vaishnava's position is higher than that of a Brahmana. And what are the Brahma Karma Swabhavajam? Kshama, Dhamma, Tapa, Shaucham, Shantim, Arjavam. Are any of these things there? Akrodo, Shanta. Any of these things is there? We are always angry. We are always agitated. We are full of anxiety. So even if we are not Brahmana level, then how can we reach Vaishnava level? Now only a Vaishnava can be a preacher. Who can be a preacher? Only a Vaishnava can be a preacher. Nobody else can be a preacher. They can be a lecturer. There's a lot of difference between a preacher and a lecturer. Lecturer is somebody who simply knows the subject and he can talk. Not necessary that he must follow all those things. So we have to become real devotees of the Lord, not imitation devotees. Only then we can become real preachers. A preacher is one who teaches how to live. A preacher is one who teaches others how to live. And the Sanskrit word for a teacher is acharya. And many people think acharya means, very big status, like founder acharya. The basic meaning of that word is teacher. Acharya. Achariti iti acharya. So a person who leads by example, who teaches by example. Prabhupada gave this definition. Who is an acharya? One who teaches by his personal example. So this is completely different from what we understand in the normal course. Teacher means we think, no. Teacher means a very great person. Acharya. Gurukula teacher means acharya. Kings send their children. Brahmanas send their children. Kshatriyas send their children to the Gurukula. And they all serve the Guru. Why? Because he was an acharya teacher, real teacher. And because he was a real teacher, he was actually able to preach to them. He was able to make an impact. He was able to influence the way the children under his tutelage were, how they were thinking. He was able to impact the thought processes of the children. So, a preacher is not a lecturer. He's not a theoretical expert. A preacher is supposed to be completely practical and knows really how to live. When he knows really how to live, he lives that life. And when he lives that life, then he becomes a perfect role model, and then he is able to actually preach. He is able to actually benefit those listening to him. Knowing Sanskrit verses is not sufficient. Being able to speak sensibly, being able to speak very nicely is not sufficient. One may not be able to even read a verse. What was the position of Gauranga Kishore Das Babaji Maharaja in our parampara? We would call, this world would call him as an unpad guy, an uneducated person. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati begged him, one of the greatest pandits of his time, Bhaktisiddhanta, he begged him, please accept me, make me your servant. And a person was greater than Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, his father and initial teacher, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He ordered him, if you should take initiation, you should go and beg from your guru, Gauranga Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Make him your guru. Somehow or other, serve him, attract his mercy, and get initiated by him. How is this possible? Bhaktisiddhanta, a very well-educated Urarite scholar, and Gauranga Kishore Das Babaji does not know how to read and write. And on the other end is Bhaktivinoda Thakura, very, very powerfully educated personality. He was so powerful, he was so educated that he was the magistrate under the British government. Very well educated. Well educated, not only materially, very, very well educated spiritually too. And both are telling, we require the mercy of Gauranga Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. But what are we trying to do? We are trying to imitate as scholars. For understanding Sanskrit, it requires at least 12 years, it's said in the Shastras. 12 years of non-stop study. And we just get some word here, get some word there, and then, we say, Brahmasparsham. Brahmasparsham means Nirantaravagi Bhagavantana Samparkadalli Iruvudu. So we give some words, we give some definitions, and we post and present ourselves. And the idea of our reading, study, is based purely to present it to somebody else. That means if there is a Bhakti Vriksha class tomorrow, I start reading all the. And if there is no Bhakti Vriksha class or Bhagavatam class for me, for the next 20 days, I don't touch Bhagavatam. So I prepare. How do I prepare? I prepare, Googling. Or take Veda base. And then, select the keyword. And then, tell here, tell there. And then I become a very big preacher. No, I cannot become a preacher. I can talk nicely. You can appreciate me. You can appreciate my talk. But then beyond that, that's the limit. Beyond that, nothing more. I cannot influence your life if I'm not a preacher. If I do Swadhyaya, if I read it as a matter of duty, if I read because that is what Prabhupada wants me to do, that is what the Guru Parampara wants me to do, that's what Krishna wants me to do. He wants me to understand about him, about his creation, about his qualities. then we will transform our lives. If we understand something perfectly, then I will definitely have to transform my life based on my understanding. Otherwise, I didn't understand. If I understand that electricity gives me shock if I come in contact with a live wire, if I understand really, then I will never touch. So if I understand the 4 regulatory principles properly, then I will not violate. If I understand that manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaro, savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhaktira dokshate aitiki apratiyataye atma suprasidate, I will simply be always offering obeisances to the Lord again and again and again. I'll be doing nothing but directly the Lord's service. I'll be doing nothing. Only then I become a devotee. And if I become a devotee, and if I live by the rules and regulations that are stipulated in the Vedas, in the Shastras, then I can actually become a preacher. The great preacher Narada Muni preached to Prahlada Maharaja, and Prahlada Maharaja took it up so seriously, and he became in turn the greatest preacher. And who gives the certificate? Who gave the certificate to Prahlada Maharaja? Narada himself, the greatest of greatest preacher. He is the perfect preacher. And in what incident does Narada Muni say this? In the incidents where the Asura Balakas, the children, the sons of the Asuras, they were jumping and dancing and doing kirtana, glorifying Lord Narayan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare. So we should all aim to become good preachers. To become good preachers, we should just do only one thing. Start applying all the principles that we understand. If we didn't understand something, well, no need. But if you have understood something, even a little if you have understood, then that principle must never be violated. So in this way, if we start applying the principle that we are learning step by step in our life, one day will be so dear to the Lord. The Lord will be attracted to us because our actions will be such that it will not be violating any of the edicts of the Vedas. And anybody who does not violate the rules and regulations stipulated in the Vedas become very, very dear to Vishnu. Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedya Vedanta krit veda vidyavachaham. He is the compiler of all the Shastras. And indeed, he is to be known from all the Shastras. And if we know him, and if we respect him, and if we offer our service, having understood our constitutional position, that I am an eternal servant of Krishna, I am a part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore I must simply serve him and nobody else. Krishna will be pleased with this attitude and with this kind of behavior. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. If anybody has any comment to make, they are most welcome to do it. If anybody has any clarification to seek, they are most welcome to ask me questions.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful, thought-provoking class, very practical in nature. And you very beautifully explained how to become a devotee, what we need to do. And the first thing you said of what is a real offering. And you said Lord as a supplier, the owner, the enjoyer, the doer, and they're all his instrument, understanding. And who is a real preacher? And what does preaching actually mean, apart from lecturing, and what we need to do for that, and have the transcendental knowledge and detachment, so that we can improve and make our life more meaningful and successful. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I've just opened the lines for devotees to ask any questions or share their reflections.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, it's very wonderful lecture. As usual, forever you give the same wonderful lectures. Prabhu, I have one doubt. I have asked earlier also this doubt. Most of the things which are given, it is more male oriented, like what you tell, that can be followed by men. But what you tell, it's not, because we are bound. We women, we are bound. We can't come out of the things. How you will help us?
Thank you, Dr. Rani, for this nice question. Very apt question, suitable question. So the answer is very simple and straightforward. You will understand it in a few minutes. Say, number one, the Shastras are written. When the Shastras are written and are put into writing form, then generally the masculine gender is used for everything. That he should do like this. A devotee who is a devotee who wants to go back to Godhead, he must. So he. So him. So you will not generally find her or she in the Shastras. So does it mean that it is possible only for man? Well, achintya beda abeda. Well, sometimes you can say yes, it's possible only for a man. Sometimes you can say no, it's possible for a woman also. It's simultaneously present. Let me explain. The first thing is that a woman, according to the scriptures, can never be alone. Either she should be under the care of her father, or the care of her husband, or the care of her grown-up children, elder sons. Okay. So, when she serves, a woman naturally serves. And a woman naturally serves with lots of love as well as respect to her father, to her husband, and to her children. Okay? Both love and respect are there. So when a woman serves her husband very nicely and properly, the Shastras are telling her, okay, you are not able to engage in so-called deity service personally. You serve your husband who is serving the deities, then you get 50% of whatever he has done. You get 50% of the credit of whatever your husband has done, or your children has done, or your father has done. And supposing a woman violates some principle, that means she does some sinful activity, then the husband, the father, the children, they get 50% of that. The punya of devotional service, the sukritis of devotional service is taken by, 50% is taken by the woman. And the woman, if she performs devotional service, nothing goes to the man. Whereas if she performs sinful activities, 50% of that goes. Why is this? This is because it is the duty of the man to protect the woman. It is the duty of the man to protect the woman, to instruct the woman. How to instruct the woman? Not by saying, hey, naan helta idini maado, ninige gottu. Not that. Not that. He should show, he should demonstrate how to do, and he should instruct. And how should he instruct? He must instruct very, very sweetly and softly. There should be no place for uncontrolled anger in the life of a person who wants to be a Vaishnava. There can be anger. My son becomes a vagabond, my son is not listening to me, I must exhibit my anger, especially if he is a minor. I must exhibit my anger, but it's not an uncontrolled anger. What is uncontrolled anger and what is anger? Controlled anger. If you speak words that should not be spoken, that means you are having uncontrolled anger. Tinsai, uncontrolled anger. Amma hag madbedamma, hag madre ನಮ್ಮ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಹಾಳಾಗತ್ತೆ. That is, ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದಮ್ಮ, ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ನಿನಗೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ನನಗೂ ತೊಂದರೆ. Okay, no problem. Anger is not being anger is not need not be there at all in the life of a devotee. Anger must be exhibited, but it should be controlled anger, not uncontrolled anger, not unbridled anger. Unbridled anger simply destroys everything, whereas anger that is controlled, anger that is having no other purpose other than correcting the child, that anger is constructive, whereas unbridled, uncontrolled anger is completely destructive. Anger, danger. D-A-N-G-E-R, A-N-G-E-R. So just D gets added, then there is a big, big danger. Anger always destroys the person. The person who is becoming angry, it may do something to the other, it may not do something to the other, it doesn't matter. But it definitely will destroy the person who is becoming angry. So, in a very nice way, as a matter of fact, things should be presented to the children, things should be presented to the woman, to the wife, especially the wife. Very lovingly, the husband has to deal with the wife. If the husband does not lovingly deal with the wife, if the husband is not a figure who can be looked up to by the wife, then the wife will not have any love, any affection, any respect for such a man. So, a husband should guide his wife in such a nice way that he does not think of leaving him ever. And if the wife simply serves the husband, such a husband, not a thief husband, not a rogue husband, if a wife serves a very wonderful husband, devotee husband, who has all devotional qualities, he may not have all qualities. He should be on the path of devotion. Not that he walks one step front and 10 steps back. Okay. He knows all the scriptures, he knows everything, but he will go and eat boga. And if the wife says, I don't want to eat boga, he will say, we shouldn't do that. I and so many other devotees, we have tried all these things. We failed. You should not do that. Then reading Prabhupada's books, the wife is asking the husband a question. The question is that, why does Prabhupada say this? Then the husband says, hey, we don't have to bother about these things. Don't become too stuck up on all these things. Just keep reading and going. Just keep reading and going. So these are not the signs of a good husband. We are not asking for a husband to become perfect. These are not signs of a good husband who is on the path of devotional service. He is not on the path of devotional service. If he does not know the answer, then he should say very nicely and clearly, I do not know the answer. We will get it. We will find it out. We'll speak to other devotees, other serious devotees. We'll find out the answer. So in this way, if a husband behaves, and if such a husband is served by the wife, then their life will be like Jedina Grihe Bhajana Deke Goloka. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one of the verses that the day I saw my house transformed into Goloka, because there was so much of Kirtana. And why this Kirtana? The Kirtana maybe Hare Krishna, Gita, Gita, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. This type of kirtana only. Another Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And now there may not be prasa, there may not be raga, there may not be good mridanga, they may not even know how to play the kartala. Doesn't matter. What matters is the heart. What matters is with what intention they are doing kirtana. Is it for demonstrating to somebody else that we are doing kirtan? Even if it's the best kirtan of the world, it has no value, especially for the person who is doing that, because his mentality, his mood is not correct. So in this way, a woman, if he is in the association of a good man, then he reaps the benefit of everything. Supposing a woman is not in the association of a good man, then what about her? No problem at all. If she continues to do her service very nicely, in whatever way she can, if she continues to even serve the husband, such a husband also, so that somehow or other he may or may not, come back to the path of devotional service, then such a woman also reaps all the benefit. There's no problem. Prabhupada is there. Prabhupada's books are there. Prabhupada is not a person who just simply left this world high and dry. He continues to exist in this material world for our sake. And if we actually serve Srila Prabhupada by reading his books, then he will give all the necessary strength for a woman also, for anybody, for a Shudra also. And that woman and that Shudra, Striyopi, Vaishya, Shudras, they can all go back home, back to Godhead. I hope I have answered your question fully.
To some extent, Prabhu, maybe I will talk to you personally. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, there's actually a question from one of the Matajis in the chat box. He is saying, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. What is that makes one be born with good quality like Narada Muni and another like Hiranyakashipu?
The question is that, what is that makes one be born with either good qualities or bad qualities? Karmana devanetrena. Everything that we possess in this lifetime, including this body, including all the guna lakshanas that we have, is the result, the sum total of all our activities, of all our, not just past life, all our past lives. Okay? Hiranyakashipu is different. We should not compare ourselves even to Hiranyakashipu. Because Hiranyakashipu was there under the direct order of the Lord. He took up that role under the order of the Lord. He exhibited all these things under the order of the Lord. And after completing all his three, as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, as Dantavakra and Shishupala, they simply went back to their original positions as Jaya and Vijaya. So, any kind of bad qualities in me, any kind of illnesses in me, diseases in me, is the result of my past karma. But it doesn't mean that a man who is not having good qualities in this life should not develop good qualities in the present life, in future. Abhyasa yuktena. So, by practice, we should first know what are the good qualities. We should know the difference between bad qualities and good qualities. We should know what are the implications of bad qualities and the implications of good qualities. What do I stand to lose? by having bad quality, and what do I stand to lose by having good quality? Or what do I stand to gain by having good quality, by exhibiting good qualities? So then we develop desire. When we develop desire to develop good qualities, then I am placed in the association of such people who already have those good qualities. And it becomes very easy for me to imbibe all those qualities in me. And in course of time, make it grow, make it become more stronger. So it is mentioned that association makes a man or breaks a man. If you are in the association of good people, then we also naturally, if in the house, the mother and the father, they are speaking so many bad words, day in and day out, then the children automatically pick up. Hey, ah, woo, woo, ah. But if there are a set of children who are in the association of very good Vaishnava parents, Hare Krishna, they know how to respect, they know how to receive a guest, they know how to read, they know how to chant. They read like how it should be really read. They chant how it should be chanted. So if the father is chanting Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare, the son also learns the same bad qualities. I'm actually extending the answer, extending the question and answering. The question was why they are born, and the straight and direct answer is based on their past karma. And now I'm telling, having been born with all kinds of bad qualities, how we can still become good, develop better qualities. It's not just one lifetime for many of us. Though, if we actually follow whatever Prabhupada asks us to follow, we can go back home, back to God in this one lifetime itself. But even if that does not happen, that doesn't happen. In many, many cases, that is the reason why that question is answered. What happens to a devotee who is unsuccessful? Will he lose everything this, whatever he has done here? And he lost materially, he lost spiritually also? Krishna says, no. Shushinam Srimatam Gehe. Krishna answers. No, he'll be born. He'll be born in a very wonderful family, Brahminical family, or an aristocratic family with all kinds of opulences, so that he can continue from where he has left. So for many of us, let us start making an effort to become good. We have many bad qualities. Let us start making an effort to become good. Slowly but surely, we'll start getting all those qualities. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the wonderful answer, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for the wonderful question.
Prabhu, I think there's actually no more other questions. And since you are actually over time, thank you for your association and extra time with us. We really appreciate, Prabhu. We'll just end the session with the Vaishnava Pranam. Pancha Kalpatarupist, Kripa Sindhubhya Evachu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.
Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Looking forward to your association soon, Prabhu. We'll just end the session now. Thank you. Dandavats.